What's up, YouTube fam? Brandon Weaver here once again, and if you stumbled upon this channel by happenstance, perhaps you were meant to be here because now you're about to get your credit squared away. You're about to get your credit good, man. You want to get your credit cleaned up? You want to get your credit repaired? You came to the right channel. If you ain't subscribed, hit that subscribe button to become part of the subscribe tribe and hit the bell for notifications so you get these right away. And you know the next time I go live, because a lot of times when I go live, I like to do incentives. I like to do stuff where people get to call in and talk to me directly and work with them on finding the specific violations that these credit bureaus and collectors, specifically these third-party debt collectors, be violating on you, all right? So we're gonna find those, and I've got some comments, questions for you right here, so let's get to it, okay? Now, this was posted just a few hours ago. I like to get them fresh as quickly as possible for you guys, delivered right back into your inbox. So, here we go. I wanted to purchase a car in September. I asked the dealer, okay, I'm gonna go some big dealer out here. I don't want to put nobody on blast. Put some big dealer to print me a purchase order so the credit union could write me a check for the loan. This is fantastic. Perhaps you saw our video. Actually, you were in September, so you didn't see our video here, but there is a video on this channel about getting the purchase order. You don't get your credit run at the dealership. You don't go through their financing. Number one, they're gonna give you a worse rate. Okay, they're gonna give you a worse rate than if you go to your credit union like this individual. Another thing is you're gonna get a bunch of shotgun blast inquiries. It may or may not bring down your score. Oftentimes, if your credit is a little bit weaker, a little bit poor, it will bring your score down, and it will appear as if you have a bunch of inquiries, right? It's supposed to just be one inquiry for that batch of inquiries, but let me explain to you, hang in there, and I'm gonna explain to you why you wanna get these inquiries removed. There's some opinions out there about it, and you don't necessarily have to, but I think this might be advantageous to you to get them removed, and stay tuned, I'm gonna let you know. So, I'm gonna continue with this. I got approved for a 7% loan and they wrote me a check. Look at that, hallelujah, 7%, reasonable interest rate. They had some risk involved. They say, hey, you know, your credit is this. We think you could pay this back, but we want about 7%. Not bad. Got a buddy who got about close to 3%, so not massive difference, but the story doesn't end here, okay? When I went to the dealer to purchase my first car, I'm new at this, so they took advantage of me. I'm new to this and they took advantage of me. That's why I was very cautious, me and my friend, going into that dealership. Very cautious. Didn't want them to run the credit, didn't want them to have the social, didn't want them to have any of that, because they will take advantage of you. These individuals think it's okay to take advantage of individuals like that so they can make their money, right? So I don't think it's fair, because they should disclose things to you. And this is why this is an issue. I'll continue reading, okay? They took advantage of me and told me they could do better than 7%. And they repeatedly asked me if they can run my credit for that better rate. So, in here, I don't see them saying, look, you've got a 7% loan. We're not 100% sure if we could beat it, but we'd like to beat it. If you would give us the opportunity to run your credit, perhaps we can get you a better loan. From my reading of this, it says, they said, we can get you a better percentage rate. We can get you a better loan. We can get you better terms. We will get you something better than 7%. Now, my understanding is that that's a result-oriented pressure sale. Okay, that's like somebody saying, you will lose weight with this product, right? Now, of course, we don't sell any weight loss products here, okay? So don't be thinking you're gonna lose no weight, subscribe to this channel, but you might if you're trying to lose a little weight around those inquiries, and we're about to get back to why these inquiries should probably come off, okay? So, I digress. It's like someone saying, hey, you're gonna have this result. We're gonna get you this. You don't know any better. They're taking advantage of you. And it's no coincidence that we have the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Fair Credit Billing Act, the Fair FACTA, God, what other Fair Act? Man, we've got so many Fair Acts. Got so many Fair Acts in the USA. I love the United States. It protects consumers. It really does. as a business owner, I've really been very fortunate to have great people on our team and working for us, and I know they are very well protected in the US, and you are protected. Your rights and the law are very, very strong here. There's so much criteria that the credit bureaus and the collectors and the creditors have to make sure is correct when they populate your reports. So if you want to know some of those criteria, if you want to know how to challenge those things and dispute them and find the violations, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and give me a thumbs up if this video helping you out. Okay, so they're taking advantage of you. We're gonna get to this, okay? So, stupid me, I let them run it. 30 minutes later, he comes back and says the lowest rate was 27%. Not 8%, not 7.5%, not 9%, not 6.5%, 27%. Okay? 27%. So hell no, didn't take it. A day later, I saw 13 inquiries from all sorts of banks. They still on my report now. I want them off since I was forced and was told I was going to be one inquiry. What's my next step? Okay, let me explain to you this one inquiry thing, and this is why I think there's some opinions about it and what's confusing about it and what people feel is bringing down the scores and is derogatory. Okay, you get a shotgun blast of inquiries. It may or may not bring down your score if it's considered one inquiry in that time period. Okay, because you can shop for a car, you can shop for a mortgage, and it doesn't bring your score down that much. It still is going to affect you. Okay, it's still going to affect you. So it's still going to affect you, but I'm going to explain why. The second thing is, if it does bring your score down and you were tricked and you were duped into this predatory lending situation, okay? And I'm not a lawyer, so look it up with a lawyer, but this is my belief educating here, okay? And I'll read you the definition of predatory lending in a minute. If it brings your score that much down, you gotta get them off, all right? This is ridiculous. That's not something, you don't have the loan, that you didn't want to do this, you were coerced under duress for something that was unfair, unfair, and if it was just one inquiry and it didn't bring your score down very much, you're still gonna have to explain all those inquiries sometimes when you go apply for a bank card or some other loan, or you wanna get, believe me, I've been there. I personally had many inquiries in a period of time when I was going and getting credit card sign-up bonuses, and I had to explain to reconsideration lines or underwriters and explain to them, you don't have to worry about the risk of my inquiries. I'm doing it because I have the means or whatever to pay what I'm going to pay because I really want this so I can travel, and I'm doing this in my business, and I plan on using it for these reasons. Oh, not a problem, but I had to do that every time. If you go apply for something and they're like, oh, you have a lot of inquiries at one time, and they don't know that it's a bunch of auto loan all at once, and you get denied for stuff, which I have heard happening in this community, then you've got to go ahead and call the reconsideration line, or what they're known as the underwriter. So they understand the risk, because a computer is going to kick it out right away. They're going to say, this person doesn't meet the qualifications or the criteria that we're looking for in our risk management here at this bank. They've got 40 inquiries. They've got 30 inquiries in the past 2 months. I can't have that. Now, I understand, you understand that it is possible to have them on there and get your loans and get your bank cards and get your whatever, right? Get into an apartment. But why should you have to? Why should you have to? Why should you go through that problem? And now we're going to read you predatory lending definition and what this means and why I believe you shouldn't have to deal with this, okay? And yes, you can potentially have them removed, okay? And this is why you have to be very upfront about knowing your rights, knowing that this is supposed to be fair. Let me explain to you what predatory lending is, okay? Predatory lending, Jerome ain't got no, Jerome, the cameraman ain't got no teleprompter for me, so I gotta do my own camera work here with the computer, all right? So I'm looking at my computer, Jerome. Sit your tail down, sit it down, Jerome. You're making me look like a fool. Predatory lending is a lending practice that imposes unfair or abusive loan terms on a borrower. You see all these loan places, quick loans, where it's like crazy high interest rates and it's unfair, okay. It is also any practice that convinces a borrower to accept unfair terms through deception, coercive, exploitative, or unscrupulous actions for a loan that a borrower does not need, does not want, and can't afford. You didn't want it, you didn't need it. You can't afford 27%? Sorry, I'm gonna put this down. 27%. This obviously isn't a loan that you got. But had you taken that loan, could you imagine those terms? 27%, and you know what's nuts? If you took that, do you think they'd say, oh, well, don't sign up for that, you got this better loan? If you'd said, oh, I'd prefer to have my loan with the dealership, do you think they'd stop? Because it didn't stop them from running your credit, okay? So you've got the ability to dispute. You could potentially make a case. Say, hey, man, I was under duress. I'm seeing that this is hurting me. I didn't know that all this was going to happen. Okay, this feels very predatory. Okay, there are consumer protection lawyers out there. There are free credit attorneys out there that want to help you just like I want to help. Get a free consultation, okay? Why should you have to explain for the next 9 months or 12 months until those inquiries, until your rebound period comes back, okay? Your inquiries are gonna hurt you for a period of time if you're gonna have to get something and you're gonna have to call these reconsideration lines and these underwriters for the next 9 to 12 months. Is that fair? Is that fair to you? No, I don't think so. I don't like it. I don't like what they did to you. I don't appreciate it. And I'm glad that you asked your question. I'm glad that you got your car at a decent rate. And I appreciate you for sharing with us in this community here. We're helping one another out. So I appreciate you. All right. And if this video is helping you out so far, give it a thumbs up. Now, I'm going to move on to my next question. But I want you to know if you need anything else, you can email me. We can find a solution to your any rights they might have violated. Okay? All right. Now, this is a little bit longer one, so I'm gonna probably try and chunk it down, paraphrase it, so y'all don't have to spend all day with me, okay? I appreciate y'all, but I know y'all got stuff to do. All right, so, Mr. Williams asks, I have recently viewed a recent update of my credit report from the original creditor that has closed an account back in 2016, all right? The account status shows that it's a collection/charge-off. Just recently at the end of April 2018, the same creditor has put a $177 increase on the balance, $177 more on the increase of balance as of April 2018. Okay, the creditor has tried to serve me with the past 6 months twice and has failed to do so. They've also tried to get me twice through certified mail. I failed because I do not accept certified mail. Back in 2016, I came across financial difficulties and so forth and so on and was late a few times. Okay. Now, he wants to know, is it legal for a creditor to add to the loan since its closing date? This is very intriguing, okay? So, collection/charge-off, all right? And this one's interesting because if you agreed to late fees or increased fees or something of that nature, perhaps they can, but the problem is they're going to have to provide some type of validation or verification or proof to make sure that that billing is fair. I mean, this Fair Billing Act also exists. The Fair Credit Billing Act, FCBA, also exists. And if they violated any of those rights, you could have that removed. So that's one way of having it removed. The other thing is it in collections and is there a collection account attached to that? Because if there's a collection account attached to that and it's charged off and there is a balance for the collection, that charge off can no longer be there. It has to say zero balance. So they can't add anything. If it is a true in collections with a collector, third-party collector, let's be very cautious here, it can't be in-house collection. It has to be third-party collector. It's now with a third-party collector, and the third-party collector has a balance. The original creditor balance must say zero. So that's inaccurate information that must be deleted. Okay, so those are a couple of things. And of course, you can always dispute, ask for some verification while you send the letter to the collector, okay, for a two-pronged approach, and see if they will cease collections during that period of time, if there is a collector to deal with, all right? Now, it seems like you're going through it at the statutes of limitation, right? So it seems like they're trying to get a hold of you. Make sure they're not just letters. It did seem like it was a process server, maybe, maybe not, but if that is true, okay, if that is true, then you don't want to worry about that stuff just yet. You want to go ahead and find this record, okay? So all that is great for disputing if you're dealing with stuff. Very similarly, understand that you can dispute something that is a collection that has a balance, and your charge-off should have a zero balance. If not, it must be deleted. Now, if you are going through this process, you can and will be able to either defend yourself or have a credit repair or consumer protection lawyer represent you, or give you free consultation, or work for you on your behalf for free, and file, here's the beautiful part, okay, about those things that I talked about. You can file a countersuit right then. Boom. You say, you know what, my rights were violated. Fair Credit Billing Act, Fair Debt Collection Practice Act, about the collector, if it's a collector. I believe it's the original creditor. Or hey, the reporting was incorrect. You know, I don't understand what this is. Please provide me some evidence that this is indeed mine. Okay, so that's another thing. If you really don't know what this amount is, clearly you seem like this amount is incorrect. So they've got to provide that, hey, I agreed for you to allow extra fees to be added on top of this, when a lot of times they don't have that. So those are all things to help you during this process. Now, I would reach out and find out if there is something in your court. Okay, if there's something in your courthouse that you need to find out about and take care of, you want to take care of. You do not want to bury your head in the sand and get some default judgment. Okay, because then you're fighting upstream and you have to deal with that, all right? So, if you can handle it and head on, you have a much better chance of taking care of this and knocking this stuff out. And I really appreciate you for coming here and trusting me with this. You can hit that bell for notifications. If you've got questions, okay, you're commenting like many people and sending in emails and you want to see your video here, you can go ahead and hit that bell for notifications, hit the subscribe, become part of the subscribe tribe, all right? And that way you can go ahead and knock out some of your own issues right here for free on YouTube, all right? I really appreciate you all out there, all right? Down below, when you hit that subscribe button, hit the put subscribe tribe in the comments. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you. And until I see you in person, hey, one last thing. If you feel as if you need us to do it for you, we can at theawesomelifegroup.com, all right? If you need letters to do it yourself, 609creditrepair.com. You know where to go. And now, until I see you in person, I will see you on the other side. Take care.